What's going on, guys? Alright, so I've got this mirror, and it's a fun mirror to wrap, and this is off a Dodge Challenger 392. They're pretty much all the same as far as Dodge Challengers go. They're really egg-shaped mirror, fully painted. So while you have the mirror off, there's going to be a couple things that you're going to want to do. Is obviously clean it, prep it. What I like to normally do is just remove the seal a little bit. So let's get that off. And that just gives us better tuck for the vinyl around the bottom edge, okay? So I'll do that, and I've already prepped it basically, so I'm going to go over it again a little bit. And we're going to do this bottom piece first, alright? The reason why we're doing this bottom piece first is going to be much easier while it's off the car as opposed to being on the car. So I have a piece of vinyl right here, and I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to rest that there. Generally a little wider and a little longer than what you need it. I'll explain where we're going to do the seam. So obviously we don't want the seam to be on the outside, we want it to be on the inside. So there is a natural seam in the plastic right there. We're going to do it somewhere around that area, right? Makes sense. I'm going to put the mirror back to its original position. It's hard to do. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it, alright? So this might be too much film. I could use a bit of a thinner piece, perhaps. Let's try and pull this down a little bit more, get it out of the way. Maybe I don't need a thinner piece. Actually, I'm going to cut off a bit more. Just because it gets in the way, and you don't want too much in the way when you're doing this. Sorry, it's freezing outside, so I got this bit of a sniffles right now. I don't think I'm getting a cold. It's just not that nice. So I'm going to try and line up this edge right here. This way I can save myself from cutting on the paint, right? And then we work the film around. So we have to stretch the film in order to keep it straight, because this mirror isn't actually, it looks very flat all the way around, but it's not. In its own way, it's not. So as we go to lay the film around, it's going to start to bunch up here and stuff, and it's going to get funny. So we don't want that to happen. The film that I am using is Avery, and this is Avery Gloss Metallic Gray. So I might need a bit of heat. I'm going to try not to use any heat because I don't like to use heat if I don't have to. We're almost there. So basically we want the film to tuck in around the bottom also, like that edge right there. This is the easy part of the whole mirror. It's going to get more complicated as we do the rest of it, alright? This mirror will require approximately 3 seams on the actual mirror itself. So you can see that because I had a large piece, I'm going to miss this corner right here, alright? Even though I had such a large piece. So what I can do is I can draw some of this tension in from the bottom here. Again, I'm going to need a bit of heat. Avery's usually pretty good at stretching without heat, but it's still like 70 degrees in here and it's just not quite cutting it. So we're going to draw the film in around the bottom, alright? Now, by the time we get to the end, we don't want to stretch too much. Obviously, for reasons that we don't want it to pull back, alright? So I've covered that top corner now. And now I'm just going to finish this off. Barely made it. So I should have very little tension in this area here. Let's check it out, make sure we're good. I'll heat it. So I have no pullback, I just heated it. There's no wrinkling going on there, no fingering. So now what we do is turn that off so you can hear me. I got a nice fresh blade, and I'm going to cut. You can use knifeless for this if you want to get a straighter line. I'm pretty good at cutting, so I'm just going to freehand it and overlap it slightly, alright? About 1/8 of an inch roughly. From there, we're going to make sure it's smooth pretty much all the way around where it bridges this gap, and then we're going to cut on the opposite side of the gap, alright? This is a black mirror, so if this was a white mirror, you might have to put another piece on the inside to make sure we have full coverage. Like, I mean, when you twist this base, because what's going to happen is that you might see a little bit of white or yellow or whatever through. It's going to wrap around the edge, but maybe not enough. So you might have to turn the mirror and then put another piece in there just to have full coverage. And you might want to do that before you actually wrap the mirror, this base part. It's kind of like an inlay. Cool, so that should be off. And then we'll go around the bottom. This is the basic part, alright? Like I said, this is the easy stuff. So as you can see, here, the vinyl is already rolling in because I removed the seal. So which is really nice. I'm not going to have to heat it or anything like that. I'm just going to cut it on the back side. And then put the seal back. And we'll get that piece out of the way. We'll finish tucking this all in. And then for around this section here, I'm going to turn the heat gun on again and get my squeegee ready. Buffer side usually, because it kind of helps round it out a little bit more, a little bit better. I'll heat it just to give it a bit more pliability. And what I want to do is start on these corners and push pretty aggressive, all right? That keeps the wrinkles away. So on the inside corner here as well. Once I go over it with the buffer side, then I'm going to go over it with the more firm side of the squeegee, all right? So I got some pretty good coverage. I think that if it was even white, it would have hidden everything. Cool, so I'll let you look at it there. The other side has the seam, and it's nice and pretty. Cool. So we have one more piece to do. I suggest you do before you put the mirror back on, and it's the bottom piece. This thing twist. Yes, it did. So let's put this back on. So the bottom piece, this bottom section right here, we're going to want to do in another inlay, all right? Simply because it's going to be way too impossible to do all this in one piece, all right? So we need to have an inlay here. We're going to do that first. This way, when we wrap the mirror, everything faces down. As I was showing the workshop over the weekend, was that depending on how you do your seams, you can do seams depending on how you do them and where you do them. They're either hidden very well or they're not. And it also depends on the film, not only just the brand but the color. So the color and the way it seams can vary from brand. So the same brand, let's say it's Avery, the seams can either be hidden really well with, let's say, gloss pearl white, but not hidden very well with satin pearl white. And that's just simply because of the color. Some are more translucent and they show the actual overlap a little bit more. So if you're not doing a butt joint, which I don't recommend because butt joints usually separate because vinyl will shrink, all vinyl will shrink. Then if you do a butt joint and you don't do it properly, then you're gonna have a space there and you're gonna see the color through it. So you always wanna overlap that little bit. What I'm gonna do right now is just grab the knifeless tape. I have it right here. It's so cold outside, guys. Just gonna check my receiver, make sure that's good. All right. So, depending on how comfortable you are, you can freehand cut or you can knifeless tape it. Let's knifeless tape it. And we're gonna start on more on the inside. We don't want to stretch the knifeless, all right? We do want the knifeless to come up a bit, all right? It's going to be better if it comes up a little bit higher than just the recess, because we want to overlap and make sure we have enough vinyl and not too much tension pulling down. As far as the knifeless I'm just using finish line, all right? Finish line I find to be much better. It's more durable. The string inside is stronger. Cool, so now I've got that on there. Let's cut the knifeless off. And let's not put that on the ground because you don't want to put your knifeless tape on the ground, it'll pick up dirt. Jeez. All right. Cool, so I know I got to start this piece first. This piece is the last piece because I overlapped, right? That's that. Let's grab another piece of film. This piece, is it wide enough? Now you don't want to go with something too wide, but you don't want to go with something too skinny. Again, same deal, all right? So I'm going out with approximately the same length as I had before. And what we want to do is start on the inside again. This is where it becomes challenging coming in through here. Because everything starts to hit the top side of the mirror. So we just got to work the film, guys. It's all a matter of that. It makes this part of the mirror more difficult for sure. But like I said, you're going to want to do a seam. What we can do is we can start laying it into the recess. I just wanted to make sure I was positioned well enough. And then we can start doing relief cuts. We have to be very careful with our relief cuts because we don't want to mess it up where we're not covering the knifeless tape, all right? Plus, these are split cuts, so these can run. I'm not doing a circular cut. Let's get that out of the way. All right, so I'm gonna have to, this is the hardest part of the whole mirror right here. Well, it's not the hardest part of the whole mirror, it's the hardest part of this whole piece, is this recess in here. So again, I'm just trying to do relief cuts and kind of get myself around this corner without causing too much stretch. It's just a huge challenge and not getting any wrinkles. Using your finger, because your finger will get in there better. I want to try to one piece it because I don't feel like I need two pieces. But as I can see, that didn't work out very well at all. So it's time to start over again. I might go around this way and then try to come in from this way. So let's do that. So we get a bit of a wider piece this time. Okay. I could be doing this on a table, might be easier, but I'm not. So let's go the opposite way this time, all right? Let's go from this way out. See, I don't want to put the seam too close to this corner because I know there's going to be a tension there, so I want the overlap to be more back here. It's just going to be better for durability purposes. There's not much we can do to get stuff out of our way when it comes to doing this, because if we remove the bottom section, it's not really going to help us all that much to get around and under here. We could mask off the actual top portion of the mirror, and that would help the vinyl slide off a little bit. But I'm not going to. Because I'm just going to work it around. Like I said, the challenging part is that it keeps sticking to the top, alright? So let's keep sticking to this piece up here. And try not to remove too much of the backing paper while I do this, because I don't want to pick up too many contaminants. Or any at all. So I did a relief cut. Let's get this wire out of the way. So I feel like it's probably a little bit better this time around. What I'm going to do is stretch it across like this, and then try to pull up on these wrinkles like we do on most panels of the vehicle, and pull the opposite direction on the wrinkles to get them out and move them up forward. Cool, it's working. So I've got a little too much film on the bottom here, so what I want to do is give myself a bit of relief here. It's going to help. Again, I'm just working it with my thumb or my finger, whatever finger you're comfortable with. So you can kind of see why you want to set it up with knifeless. You don't want to mess it up when you go to do your cut. After all this work you've just put into it. Here comes that challenging corner again over here. So always trying to keep a bit of tension on the film to keep the wrinkles away, alright? Again, I'm going to put a relief cut down here. Switch my hands over. Let's just get rid of that because it's just going to keep getting in my way. We're almost there. And I'm just working the film. You can do this in two pieces, guys. You can do one piece on the back side here and one on the front and have them meet here. There might be a little less tension and it might be a little bit easier for you to do. I want to do it in one piece just because I know that I can. And if you don't try, you'll never know. Cool, so I'm pretty much there. I've got to fix up this side a little bit. Alright, we are all the way around, so I'm going to make sure I've got all the air out. I'm going to go and hit it with some heat right now. Just making sure the knifeless is down really tight. And all the air is out of the tape. So I know, remember, I got to pull the other side first, this side first. I'm going to just trim this here. It's in my way. Cool, let's do this. Got an air bubble there. Cool. Cool, now I'm through. So let's get this out of the way. Let's put my knife away before I stab myself. And let's get rid of the knifeless tape. You're going to see we're going to have a nice clean cut all the way around. For here, so for here I'm going to do my little cut where I did the seam. All I want to do is score the film. This is Avery, it's very thin, so if we cut too deep, we're going to cut through the bottom layer. But I've got my 1/8 of an inch overlap roughly. Same deal when it comes to cutting here. I'm going to cut on the opposite side as smooth as possible, alright? So let's get all this excess out of the way now. And we're going to heat it up and go over the edges again, alright? So same deal, I'm going to push on the corner. Alright, that's good. So, where I did the seam, where I did the seam on there's actually a seam in the plastic here as well. There's a seam on both sides, there's one over here as well. So I matched them up to where the original one was, alright? So there was an original one there and there's an original one there. Did them in the exact same spot. You can actually see that line runs all the way through and I'm right on it, alright? And there was one right here also that I'm right on it. So that's how you want it to look before we mount the mirror. Now we're going to have to mount the mirror. I'm going to do this in a separate video and get it on the car, and then I will show you how to actually wrap the rest of the mirror. If you guys liked how we do the setup here, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see the next video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.